trade analysis and dissection. You've come to the right place. I'm Pat Mitchell. I have been a professional trader for the past 11 years and have been doing it successfully. I'm here to give you free, high quality day trading education right here on YouTube and X, for free. Tonight, we have an amazing lesson, technical lesson, as well as mentality lesson. Give me 1 second. Let me get into the charts. I'm going to go over my trade entries, the trade plan itself. I'm going to talk about the exits, targets, everything. Nothing will be missed. So let's rock and roll. I'm going to grab my charts. Oops, just about left the studio. 1 sec. Okay, so now that we are in the charts, give me 2 quick seconds here. Just got to fix something, else it's going to look goofy. There we go. We are in the charts. Took a couple of trades here today. We took one on Qs and one on SPY. Both were fantastic trades. Now, one of the main lessons for today is talking about sizing, and sizing in a couple of different ways. Sizing on a nice opportunity where you get everything that checks the boxes, and then sizing on a trade where you have to play with it for a little bit to make sure it's doing what you want it to do, right? Like sometimes we just don't know. Well, every time you really don't know. It's about strategy, right? So let's dive into these trades. Let's talk about Qs first. Let me go into my entries here on Qs. So very quick trade, and this is something to know. So I'm going to flash back to my other entries on SPY. So burn this into your brain, real small trade, right? And then I want you to burn this into your mind, okay? So now I'm going to talk about SPY. So I'm going to zoom in on these entries a little bit more. So on this here, you're seeing a very small short-term opportunity on Qs. Okay. Now I locked in $5,500 on this in that short little window. How did I do it? Okay. So on this here, I'm going to zoom in on the 1 minute chart a little bit more so then we can really see. So this morning we opened up and we actually wanted to go long. We didn't get the entry necessarily that we wanted. Qs had far too much risk coming down. And then if it did bounce, it would have had too much resistance on the way back up. So it was a no-go for the long. But on SPY, we wanted the long, but we had to wait for it. Okay. It's about setting up. Let these stocks set up. Don't just initiate a trade because you want to. Okay. So on this here, let's say you executed SPY long on this wash. Okay. Yes, there was support with the 20 SMA. But what you're missing is all of that overhead resistance. You have the 20 SMA, you have the previous close, and the 50 SMA. If you took it on that dip, that's what you missed. You missed risk and resistance. You want longs clearing over all support, or sorry, all resistance, so then it has nothing in its way. Okay. So on Qs, if you took Qs long into this level here, that's what you did. You missed all of, if it slipped this support, and even if it held, you have a minefield of resistance on the way up. Now, it didn't really test any of that resistance, but that's beside the point. That's hindsight. Since we don't know that, we have to wait for the right opportunities. So what we wanted instead was the short on Qs and the long on SPY after it remounted. So let's discuss Qs. So Qs came with speed and distance straight up. So low of day, straight push up into a valid resistance level. A resistance level, all of these blue levels that you see on my charts each and every day on these trade analyses, those are placed prior to the market open. This isn't marking out this level and this level. These are marked out prior, and those are our trade plans. Okay, I develop a trade plan based around these technicals. So when it comes flying up into that in one swoop, all the way up into resistance like that, okay, it comes right into this 520.93 level, which is right there. It has no choice within a reasonable risk tolerance but to have that first reaction. So when I see that, I get size in. I don't mess around. It is giving me everything I want in a trade. We have speed, we have distance, we have a valid, overly valid support or resistance level, and not even just speed and distance. It just coming straight up into it without a pullback. Did not take a breath at all. It's like running a marathon, guys, like sprinting a marathon. When you get to that finish line, what happens? You will collapse. That's what this is. Now, it didn't collapse, but you get a first reaction, and that's all that fucking matters, is that opportunity. So as soon as it started coming up, once I got this pop candle like this, those are my first two bang bang entries. Click that button a couple of times, boom, boom. Secondary, as soon as it came right into that level, that's where I got that size in and immediately took it off. So this little itty bitty trade here, it only pulled back 1 point on the stock, okay? Locking in $5,500, all within like nothing, like 5 minutes, not even. It's about opportunity and knowing it, knowing when to strike. So that's kind of sizing option number one. Now, sizing option number two, let's go over SPY. SPY's interesting. So, like I said this morning, or sorry, earlier, and also this morning, we want the long. We wanted the long on SPY. We want that bitch long. You have to wait for it though. If it washed into the 20, you could take that, but you have to be out fully into this resistance. Have to. There's too much resistance there. You have dual layer of resistance, and that's no good. Okay. Now it sliced through it. Sure, that's fine. But again, we don't know that. It's about controlling your risk, mitigating risk. Wait for it to get through that and pull back and confirm. That's what we want, because then you can start playing with it. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. So on this here, when it dips down, comes into the 20, pops up, pulls back, that's my first entry right there. That's my entry. I enter into that and I pay myself as soon as it pushes. Okay. Once it pulls back yet again, I start averaging in right here because there is some support there. That's micro support. That is natural movement theory, proprietary to Tricktrades. This is what I teach. And then it comes right into that level. So boom, boom, get a couple of entries. As soon as it pops back up, I pay myself, right? Pay myself. Pulls back once it's holding that higher low as well. And at that moment, SPY, okay? So SPY here, or sorry, Qs here is also holding support and curling up. It's going to break out. It has nothing in its way here, guys. It is clear blue skies. So you want to play with that until it gives you that follow through. Okay. You don't go all in, all out, and leave it alone. We know there's a big opportunity here. Okay. So you have to play with that chart. It's usually 3 times. On that third time, if it doesn't go, it's probably going to fail. Okay. The odds would dictate in that scenario, it would fail. Now it didn't. That's where we start capturing higher lows and it really starts cooking. And that's what happened. So roughly 60% in about 45 minutes, 40 minutes, something like that. And locking in $5,221. So well over $10,000 today on one small trade, but putting size into it because I understand how big of a successful potential that there is on that. And then number 2, same amount, but on a much wider, more percentage-based trade because I know I can get that distance. I don't need to throw a bunch of size at it because I know if it ground and catches and rips, meaning it pushes up, it has no choice but to come into the target of yesterday's highs. And if you take a look right here at 10 a.m., as it pushed, where did that push? It pushed dead nuts into that high from yesterday. That was my target, right? And that's where I strip out all of that size and then just save that last little bit along the way. And that's it, guys. Trading doesn't need to be difficult. It's something that I've said for the past 8 years on social media, on Twitter, when it was Twitter, and X, and on YouTube. Trading isn't hard. You are making it hard on yourself. What you're doing is you're using a bunch of indicators and nonsense and falling for these dumb money traps. You're complicating it, you're overthinking it. The problem isn't with a strategy or technicals or anything, it's up here. This is why it is so fucking important that you deal with someone that can help you get through these barriers. There's a major disconnect in the world of day trading. There's a major disconnect when it comes to paying for coaching because of my predecessors before me. So I understand that. I get it. Bunch of fucking dirty shysters is all they were, right? They make it difficult for guys that can actually show you how to do this. So if you actually want to learn how to do this, come to tricktrades.com. And if not, that's okay. Enjoy my free content. That's why it's here. You're getting high level quality day trading education for free, but you do owe me something because I believe it's only fair. First time here, you got to like the video. You don't even need to subscribe if you don't want to. If you do, awesome. Appreciate it. If this is your second time viewing this channel, you got to subscribe. You have to. Ain't nothing in life free, guys, right? Like there's always a give and a take. You can't just take and not give. Two-way street. Remember that. Don't be an asshole. Subscribe. Okay, guys. I hope you all have a wonderful evening, and I hope you traded well today. Adios. Oh, I'm losing my mouse.